Hey everyone, KI Live for this week just ended, and they teased a crap ton of new spells. I'm talking like probably 10, 12 new spells on this KI Live, and in today's video, I'm going to explain to you guys exactly how the spell infusion works, because they explained it to us just now, an hour ago, on the KI Live, so I have a lot of details for y'all here today on the video. But if you guys enjoyed the video or find it useful at all, consider leaving a like and a sub. I do post almost every day, and I have been for this update, and I will be streaming, of course, every day around 6 p.m. Central Time. Now, without further ado, let's get right into this video. Okay, so first things first, because I have a lot to go through in this video, I'm going to speed through it. Basically, spell infusion is when you enchant one spell with another. So in this example here, we see a Ghoul and a Stormzilla get put together to make a Grimzilla. So pretty cool. It's very similar to Mutates. It's basically the same thing as a Mutate in a sense. A couple of accessible or general UI tips. If you have these spells in your hand to enchant, they will both glow green in your hand. If you have the spell in your deck, but you only have the first half in your hand, it will glow yellow. And if you don't have any of them, they won't glow at all in the deck. If they're not glowing in the deck, that could also mean you have not acquired the highest level of weaving to actually unlock this kind of talent or, fusion thing. So do keep that in mind as well. It could be the fact that you haven't progressed the quest line enough, hit a high enough level, or it could be that you just didn't pack it in your deck, or you got rid of it and now you can't do it anymore. For the PvE players, you can also enchant these spells, unlike Mutates, by the way. So basically, before with the Mutate, you would mutate a card, and then it would kind of be like pre-enchanted in a sense. But now you can actually just throw on a whole like epic on top of that, so it'll be more powerful than Mutates. Also, another thing you'll see in a moment here, this system is way better than Mutates, simply because the combinations of Mutates you have are like probably, I want to say like 7 times bigger than what they were in the past at like level 50 many years ago. Obviously in PvP, enchants aren't allowed, they are banned, so that really won't affect people like me. The next step, before you even get access to all the new stuff like dual scroll pierce jewels and the weaving fusion stuff like that, players are gonna have to complete a Rochambeau tutorial or the magic wheel, which is great because, like I said on the channel here, guys, I've made so many videos, and you have people stop by the stream, be like, oh, like, why is frostbite and poison not okay? Or, why is snowdrift okay? Right? And they just don't understand the wheel. So I'm really happy to see that KingsIsle is actually putting their foot down and enforcing their own rules here. And they are finally going to make this public knowledge to the entire Wizard101 community, because prior to this next update, the only way you would learn about school identity is by talking to a creator like me on YouTube. And the casuals would argue with me about like, oh, well, Frostbite's been a thing forever, but the game has changed 3 years ago. The school identities are completely different. And again, as a casual, you don't know that, right? So they're just hearing what they think is an opinion from a crazy guy online, but even though it's a fact in the game. So thankfully, KingsIsle's putting their foot down here, and I won't look like a crazy person being like, oh, Ice and Death shouldn't have Frostbite and Poison, Storm shouldn't have Enfeeble, yada yada, right? In terms of spells with fusion weaving, whether it's mono or dual, you'll have 42 fusions for magic weaving, and it seems to be 1 per rank 1 to 7 if I had to guess. And then the mono fusion as well will give you 2 utilities on your Selenopolis cards. So basically, we got a screenshot of the ice one where you would pick between 2 utilities when you obviously enchant the spell with the fusion. The ice one here is actually really good. A lot of the ice spells teased are really good this update, so that's good for ice mains. Like I said a couple minutes ago, the combinations of spells are way more than Mutates ever were. Like, this is gonna blow Mutates out of the water, out of the park, I said this like a couple days ago on the channel, but I'm really happy with this update. I know we're not getting a whole new world, but we're getting like a new area, probably similar to like Aquila or something, probably a bit bigger than Aquila and Catacombs, but that's cool. But like, they're actually doubling down and fixing the problems in the game that have been around for years. So even though it might not be like a big PvE update in terms of like questline and stuff, there is new content and new stuff to do in the game, and they're actually listening to the community, which honestly, that's great. That's really good for an off year. Okay, so we're gonna go through all the spells now. You guys need to buckle in here. There are a lot of spells. I think there's probably like 10 in total, something around that ballpark here. So let's get right into it. So the first spell we have is going to be Sand Troll. Now, if you are a casual player, I will translate all these cards for you because, you know, again, the casuals don't really know what Rochambeau is, and it's hard for them to decipher, you know, the hieroglyphics. But basically, you will take a troll and a scarab and mutate, enchant those together for a sand troll. That's what you can see at the bottom of the page there. But it's going to hit and do 460 balance damage and then detonate an overtime on the opponent, if there is one, per weakness on yourself. So basically, let's say you have 3 overtimes on the opponent. You'll cast Sand Troll, hit him, and then you'll detonate all 3 of the overtimes on the opponent because you have weaknesses left on you. A lot of these spells probably aren't going to be that good in like PvE, but they could be good in raids and PvP, which I think is great. Then next up, we have Centaurion, I think is how you pronounce that, but basically you enchant a centaur and a minotaur, and then you will clear 5 shields for 530 life blades, it seems to be, and then hit for 700 damage. Now, if this spell can be used on anybody, kind of like old Chromatic Minotaur, like if a Storm can do this combination and get Storm Blades back, that is going to be absolutely insane and absolutely incredible. Then next up, we have Lightning Locust. Now, this spell looks really, really cool. Actually, I like it a lot. But basically, this is a Locust Swarm and a Stormzilla put together. So you're going to hit for 480 storm damage, and then you will get a 55% universal trap if there's an overtime on you. Now, the only time I could see this ever being good, at least in PvP in the meta, is like a mirror matchup. If they storm elf you, you could do this, knock off a debuff maybe, do a bit of damage, and then just one-shot them with like an owl or something, right? So I think it's only good in a mirror. Probably won't see it be used at all, but it does look really cool. Then next up, we have Green Blades, which is a Banshee and a Centaur put together. So this one is going to hit for 430 life damage, and then clear 3 traps on yourself for 3 minus 55 infections on the opponent. Now, I think this spell is pretty cool, and you'll see it a bit down the line here, but you can kind of use this weaving system, not the mono one, the actual weaving one, to cover ground in your school and your library and actually cover ground that you weren't able to before, right? So, like as a Storm, for example, I could probably run this card or something to my knowledge, and then I could clear traps and set up my Turmoil Oni, which is something you can never ever do prior to this update. Okay guys, so really, really cool stuff. There's going to be a lot more spells to keep in mind now. It might be a bit overwhelming for PvP because as it is right now, you have to memorize like basically every spell in the game, and now we have 100 more coming to the game, and all the combinations are crazy. So we'll have to see what happens with this stuff, guys. Next up, we have Crowcat. So this one's going to hit for 375 ice damage and detonate. Then you're going to clear 3 blades on the opponent for, I assume, 3 overtimes that last 3 rounds on the opponent. So basically, you could use this on a fire, I think, to my knowledge, and then you detonate an overtime on you, counter their blades, and then set up a Scion in 1 turn. So pretty cool stuff here, pretty good, I want to say. Then we have Evil Magma Man. This one is insane, by the way. So you're going to clear 5 weaknesses on yourself, okay, for a 75 damage fire dot over 3 rounds, but then also make 3 ice dots that last 5 rounds, dealing 1100 damage. So this spell is going to be really good for countering weaknesses, and I think you're definitely going to see a lot of fires pack this because they already pack Evil Snowman in the meta and Fire Elf in their deck. So really, really cool stuff here. You might see that one be pretty popular in the meta. Then next up, we have Medusa's Fury, which is going to hit and then gambit 2 traps on the opponent for 2 myth dots on the opponent lasting 3 rounds. I think the spell looks really cool as a concept, and especially once we see them like in action, like in the battle, it'll look really cool. But this spell is just completely garbage. The utility completely garbage, would not use it. Next up, we have Tempest Wyvern. So this one is basically going to be an Ice Wyvern and a Stormzilla. And essentially, this will be an incredible dot counter for Ice Wizards. So you're going to hit for 840 storm damage, which is huge damage, by the way, for 5 pips for an Ice. Then you'll clear 2 overtimes for 2 Ice Traps on the opponent. So I think you're definitely going to see Ice Wizards run this because, again, they already pack Wyvern and Stormzilla pretty much. So you're definitely going to see Ice Wizards run this and actually be good against dots now and probably be good against hots as well. So I think you'll definitely see Ice shift from Fire back into Storm within this next patch because of spells like these. Orta Leprechaun, I hope I pronounced that right, but it's going to hit for 420 and then clear up to 3 traps on you for 3 chromatic 25 weaknesses on the opponent. So again, just kind of a trap counter that actually, by the way, this is the first trap counter in the game that is going to mitigate damage. Prior to this update, we did not have that in the game. So pretty cool stuff here, right? You can remove traps and debuff the opponent. So really good stuff. Not sure we'll see that make its way into the meta. The trap counters right now already aren't terrible, but we'll see what happens. We'll have to see. And then lastly, we have Lightning Dragon. Now, I've always wanted this spell in the game to be trainable, and by the way, it is an AoE, so do keep that in mind. But this is going to do 900 damage for 6 pips, and then it's going to clear 2 hots for 2 fire overtimes on the opponent. So basically, you could run this on a fire, do a lot of damage, clear a berry, and then set up an freak conditional out of that and just nuke the opponent. And keep in mind, right, fires are already packing Fire Dragon and Triton, so they can just do this combo pretty easily. So I think what you're going to see in the meta is the schools that already pack these spells and are already good with them and synergize with them, they're just going to be a lot better. So like, you know, schools like Ice, schools like Fire, we haven't really seen any Storm Teasers yet that are good, but the schools and the spells you already pack are going to get better with certain combinations. So really interesting stuff here. That's all I got for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, leave a like and a sub if you made it this far. If you don't want to, that's fine. I appreciate you watching the video, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching, and take care.